Have you ever been on positive terms with someone until they did something bad? For reasons you can't quite pinpoint, you feel completely disrespected. Discipline, whether on purpose or by chance, makes you feel lost. Someone might make a crude comment about your importance. A cruel glance or a thoughtless action in these circumstances causes more than just pain, because of how other people act, but because we're okay with this lack of respect when this keeps happening to us without us standing up for ourselves. When our self-esteem starts to drop, we feel helpless and it's not important. It's often the habits we form without realizing it that cause such problems. These are habits that create a sense of disrespect for others. Rudeness. When disrespect escalates, it has the potential to damage valuable items. We base all our relationships on respect, not just how to talk to people. In positive relationships, trust and teamwork grow, but when someone acts rude, self-centered, or lacks self-control, they make us all want to be kind. So disrespect is cruel and harmful, blocking any chance of understanding and working together. In this video, we'll look at 5 negative habits you may not realize can damage trust and kindness. Negative habits you may not realize can damage trust and kindness. From a Stoic perspective, respecting others will help us see these habits for what they are and get rid of them so we can enhance the value of life by upholding respect and human dignity. Hold on to these bad habits and learn how to break them to build The first habit is to live a life of peace and meaning. When someone lacks trust in you, it can significantly damage your relationships. It is a pattern of small actions that builds up over time and makes it harder to trust someone. Changes how we feel about someone, even little things that might not seem important. If you're going to be late home, making last-minute plans, or forgetting to call, taking an interest in someone's day can cause deep cracks within. Relationships, on the other hand, are small but meaningful acts like hearing and remembering something someone said or helping someone through a tough time can slowly make you stronger. In this case, being trustworthy isn't just about keeping your word, it's also about additionally we value the safety of our relationship and the assurance that they won't abandon us during challenging times. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman philosopher, once said, "If it is not right, do not say it if it is not true." This is a warning that being honest and having integrity are important. This should serve as the foundation upon which each of us builds our trust in Stoicism. In ethics, one of the most important traits is trustworthiness. This is because people who aren't loyal have a difficult time keeping other people's respect. Maintaining consistency in your actions and thoughts is just as important as keeping your promises. These demonstrate their genuine concern for others and their willingness to prioritize their needs. When it's important, we act with sincerity, and trust becomes the basis on which other people trust us. This is important. Both in your personal life and at work, consistency is crucial as it builds trust with others. They will really feel safe and respect us if we say and do the right things. I only learned how important trustworthiness is after losing a friendship. I had my childhood friend with whom I shared everything and was almost linked, but I often cancelled because I took things for granted. I changed my plans at the last minute because I thought my friend would understand that every broken promise caused a crack in our friendship, like water drops wearing away stone over time. Leave lasting marks on the friendship that once existed. Despite appearing resilient, my close friend's disappointment caused me to gradually crumble. Lasted too long. Every time I think about this, I realize faith is fragile and easily broken in a relationship. If you don't value them from the start, they're difficult to get back. Trustworthiness is also important. Not only in my personal relationships at the start of my job, but also at work. I knew I had to impress my boss and co-workers, so I often did things that were beneficial for them. extra chores, even ones that are beyond my abilities or time at first. Everyone enjoyed this excitement, but it eventually faded. Ensure my co-workers finish their work on time or ask for extra time. My boss began to doubt my skills due to stories like these. Show how poor reliability can damage your reputation and US trust. This puts work relationships at risk and makes people less reliable. Not only hurts trust, but also a person's own reputation, because they lie, don't meet targets, or change their plans at the last minute. Slowly loses other people's trust. Once or twice may be forgotten. But as these small mistakes add up, they give the impression that one isn't trustworthy, so other people's respect for us goes down, and, as time goes on, it gets harder to rebuild or improve relationships and jobs. Being honest about our own shortcomings is the first step in building trust. Skills. Being able to say no when necessary is a sign of maturity. As adults, we need to know our boundaries and not take on too much. Maintaining responsibility and fulfilling promises simultaneously is crucial. Respecting other people's time and communicating with them before problems arise are important. Effective ways to build trust when you can't keep a promise are available. Letting others know and apologizing early on helps them understand and feel sorry for you. Instead of leaving them feeling let down by a quiet failure, trustworthiness is not only a requirement for others to respect us, but also a strength that helps build long-lasting ties. People who are reliable will earn the respect of their co-workers more easily. In Stoic thought, friends and family are very important. Life is honest, stable, and kind to others when we are at our best. If we are honest, people will believe us and we will have peace of mind. Epictetus, a philosopher, once said, "We are living true to our values." And they said that how you handle things is more important than what they do to you. When it comes to important matters, our actions serve as the clearest indication of the level of trust others have in us. Let's remember that dependability is the key to building long-term. Relationships are important because they foster a sense of safety and trust in others. Heart's habit number 2, whining. What do you do when someone treats you badly at work? It's easy to get stuck in a loop of we often respond violently when we feel threatened. When faced with negative behavior, we often react defensively. Add another step that will make things even worse. A co-worker was disrespectful. I replied that I wasn't happy, which sparked a vicious exchange. The cycle started, and each time the replies got harsher as a way of communicating. Mentor. I tell other people to stay out of this loop a lot, but I also fall into it sometimes. I have fallen into the very trap I tell others not to fall into. Stoic philosophy has helped me understand that the habit of complaining is one of the main causes of this stress. Negative thoughts are draining my energy, peace, and even my mental clarity. Whining is a bothersome habit to have, not just for yourself, but also for others. It transmits negative energy and creates a gloomy atmosphere for everyone around you. The listeners experience fatigue and yearn to escape from it. Imagine being around someone who always worries about their job or their overtime. Relationships wear you down until your empathy is replaced by anger and to no longer like that person. In Stoic thought, Seneca once said, he stated that those who suffer before him endure more than necessary. Complaining and worrying about things that don't matter makes our lives harder. I used to become mired in a cycle of work-related complaints. At first, I thought of friends as a way to share my stress with them. And co-workers listened with understanding, but over time I noticed. When I displayed signs of discomfort, they stopped avoiding me. At first, I was confused and even a little hurt, but then a friend told me I was becoming too negative, and tiring individuals prompted me to reflect. At that time, I realized that my habit of complaining was I succumbed to the trap of excessively focusing on the problem without seeking solutions. The The trap of negative thoughts, not realizing that it made other people feel worse. People who only see the good in life are unpleasant to be around, and no one wants to spend time with them. My friends and co-workers had come to dislike me due to the difficulties and unfair treatment I had been complaining about. Made me lose important friends in a group project I once did. I had a friend at work who was constantly complaining, people who were unhappy with the job disagreements in the group. At first, I felt sorry for almost every little thing. However, as time went on, they tried to listen and find ways to make him feel better. I realized that his negativity wasn't just making me feel bad, it was also a feeling of hopelessness slowly spread to other people in the group. Putting the work on hold reduces our excitement and increases our susceptibility to discouragement. Instead of spending time and energy trying to solve problems, I got trapped in a loop of being unhappy and let down. Every problem seemed overwhelming to him, making group work harder. The spirit and its talent have been present since then. I discovered that complaining only serves as a means of identifying flaws, duty that hurts not only the person who filed the complaint, but also the spirit and morale of those around them. Taught me that Stoicism is important. When things go wrong, we should think about what we can control and try to find solutions. Instead of focusing on how things could be better, consider how you can. Since then, I've maintained this dissatisfaction and attempted to share it with others so that we can collaborate more effectively to achieve our objectives. Positively, when I realized that whining was making things worse, I chose to change how I do things. Rather than complaining about my job or life, I have learned to focus. I started looking for solutions and ways to be thankful instead of complaining about having a lot of work to do. I also reminded myself of ways to make things better and solve specific issues. I regularly express gratitude for even the smallest things. I noticed that my mood got better and the people I was friends with became nicer. Stronger people around me no longer felt drained by being with me. People started approaching me more frequently and sharing their experiences with me. Quitting complaining and adopting a more positive outlook made my life better. I fixed my relationships and earned back the respect of those around me. I knew that life would always have problems and setbacks, but I thought that whining would make things worse. Only make me feel worse about the negative aspects of Stoic thought. Philosophers always stress how important it is to clearly separate. The difference between what we can and can't control is shown. Let go of your hopes and fears about things outside of your control, like the weather. Instead of focusing on other people's opinions or unplanned events, we should focus on things we can change, such as our own thoughts and actions. Reactions when meeting problems, instead of getting stuck in them, or Stoic philosophy, tells us to look for positive thoughts. Solutions. Looking for good things, no matter how small, helps us keep a calm thought and practice gratitude. This is not an impossible goal. Make the choice to view life through a positive perspective rather than a negative one. By accepting what can't be, we can prevent ourselves from falling into a cycle of negative emotions. When we change, we feel less anxious and have more energy to focus. The real power of Stoicism is self-improvement, mental strength, and peace. Philosophy that helps us live a life that isn't changed by outside events that we exercise. We should exercise self-control in everything we do and think. Have you ever thought about how has complaining negatively impacted your relationships and life? Is there a way to change your attitude and pay more attention to leave a comment and let's discuss improving life? Habit number 3 is missing. People often say that self-control and focus are two of the best traits a person can have. Even though it's one of the hardest things to do in everyday life, self-discipline is not only a trait, it's also a need and why. When someone lacks self-discipline, they do not only people who lack self-discipline often fail at things and lose respect from others. Viewed as the power to control one's urges and make smart choices, they adhere to their beliefs and goals regardless of the circumstances. Self-discipline involves more than just resisting temptations. It originates from an inner power and is a silent force that aids a person. Stand by their beliefs even when it's easy to do so, and the opportunities come and go. Feeling satisfied is at the heart of self-discipline. It's a fight between there is a difference between reckless and planned behavior when it comes to getting what you want right away. When you lack self-discipline, it's challenging to work toward important long-term goals. Not only does our own progress slow down, but so may others' regard for us. This is because the respect other people show us often shows what kind of to gain a deeper understanding of the power of respecting ourselves and living with personal integrity. As an example of self-discipline, think about New Year's resolutions, which are both widespread and deep. Millions of people make plans every year to save money, lose weight, or work out more. We all know that these goals don't last long. Imagine someone who vows to, initially, their New Year's resolution is to improve their diet and reduce their weight. Despite being highly motivated with a clear plan and ambitious goals, when faced with a desert or an invitation to a fancy meal, they quickly lose focus on their previously clear goal, loses importance. The urgency of the moment sweeps it away. For many, giving in is a satisfying choice because it could have no negative consequences. One indulgence may seem insignificant, but those who practice self-discipline perceive things differently. Despite their differences, they know that every little indulgence can become a problem on their path and look at every challenge as a chance to show their dedication to a bigger. But having self-control doesn't mean you have to say no to happiness or comfort. When you choose carefully, you determine which wants match your values, which are our goals, and which are just temptations that take us off track. For self-controlled people, temptations are now things they want to do. In line with one's ideals without being controlled by short-term, Marcus Aurelius said that the real test of strength is the ability to. He thought that people should choose the better road even when it was hard. Being honest and having self-control are important for living a positive life. People naturally respect those who display these traits even when they lack self-control. If you don't, some people might begin to doubt your trustworthiness and dedication. They control their own actions and desires, so how can you trust them with more? Therefore, the ability to respect one's tasks closely corresponds to people with self-discipline. Look up to people who are honest and can. In comparison, when a person resists short-lived temptations for the sake of long-term happiness, repeatedly gives in to urges, whether by overindulging themselves. By putting things off or not paying attention, they show that they might not be loyal. Lack of sufficient character strength is another aspect of self-control. The skill of being able to control your impulses while talking or debating is crucial. This often leads to people feeling less respected in their personal and professional ties. It can seem rude to talk over other people or give your opinion without thinking it first. They are rude because they lack the patience and attention required for self-control. This approach fosters self-control, surpassing mere physical combat. Temptations, and it also works for social and emotional relationships when we grow. Self-control allows us to pause and reflect on the current situation. Act in a way that demonstrates respect for ourselves and those around us. This kind of self-control not only it improves interactions and increases people's respect for you. Self-control is not just a trait in Stoic thought, it's a way of life, a set of rules that can help you live mindfully, be resilient, and self-control gives us peace of mind and helps us earn respect, not just from other people, but also respect for the Stoics. The most important thing is to live in balance with nature. By embracing obstacles as opportunities for learning and growth and exercising self-control, we can get closer to this ideal by learning to put long-term goals ahead of short-term wants a state of calm and purpose, but not having self-control can greatly reduce the respect other people have for us. Another common, but equally even unintentionally, stopping others can hurt you. This small habit says a lot about a person's kindness, humility, and ability to. In the next part, we'll talk about qualities that are important for spiritual living. Investigate why talking over other people can damage their respect and how we can foster a respectful environment. Self-control is necessary to become better learners and more polite. Communicators' fourth detrimental habit is constantly talking over other people. Tough to deal with, but learning more about the psychology behind, knowing why delays happen, may help you deal with them. Happen is a good place to start, and you should also get some. There are various methods to handle the constant interruptions in life. Not only is it a detrimental habit, but it's also a clear sign of rudeness. It is inappropriate to interrupt someone's thoughts and make them feel unimportant. Be a shared sharing of ideas and feelings that is simple to break down when someone loses interest in what they're saying, when they feel unheard. While interrupting can convey attention and trust, it can also make someone feel ignored. Kills the talk and cuts off the good links between. I used to have a hard time not stopping people too. Some people thought I wasn't stopping out of disrespect at one point, but rather because I was excited and wanted to get my thoughts across quickly. In my mind, I unconsciously thought it made me look smart and knowledgeable, as if I could quickly contribute to someone else's thoughts, but over time, I learned how understand the harsh truth. Your actions only made other people feel ignored, which diminished their value. When I was sharing, I realized that stopping didn't just make people dislike me less. However, it also deprived me of the opportunity to truly listen and learn from those around me. Stoic thought emphasizes the importance of listening stoically. Philosophers like Seneca said that in order to learn, you have to listen and be patient. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, which is a useful trait in any talk. Epictetus said, "Open your mouth so that you can listen twice as much as you speak." This quote reminds us that listening is more than just waiting your turn to speak. Being able to understand other people's thoughts, feelings, and memories takes work. Stopping someone during a conversation indicates a large ego and a lack of understanding. Patience. I also know what it's like to be interrupted because of in my personal life, I once interrupted a close friend who was discussing a personal matter. At the time, I was unaware that I had deprived them of their necessary care. Looking back, I now understand how I hurt their feelings by accident. That breakup not only ruined the story, but also detracted from the overall plot. Moments, they were telling me about a real understanding from a friend or co-worker. A family member needs honesty, respect, and the habit of really listening. We can improve this habit and bring that relationship closer and better. One thing I do is practice active hearing instead of just waiting for my turn. When someone talks, I pay close attention to every word they say, trying to understand them. The feelings and thoughts they want to share are one way to be involved. Addressing their statement or asking questions shows you're listening. I put my feelings into words to show that I really understand and value what they're sharing. This habit, which not only makes my talking better, but also builds. Building trusting relationships allows others to perceive me as polite and trustworthy. Pay close attention, just as Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, is known for. He had a creative vision and outstanding leadership skills, but he was also strong. He had a strong personality and was able to advocate for his beliefs. His work was also praised. He demonstrated his ability to pay close attention during important talks, not only asked questions but also listened carefully to what each employee had to say, and experts in Jobs knew that. Understanding and accepting differences leads to inspiration and new ideas. Ideas, even ones that were different from his first thoughts through this. By carefully listening, he came up with innovative products that won him respect from not only his co-workers, but also in Stoic philosophy. Listening is not a sign. This is not a sign of weakness, but rather a testament to inner strength, as it demonstrates self-control and the ability to get over your ego. Allowing others to speak makes us smarter and more knowledgeable. On the other hand, stopping someone shows that you are impatient and insecure. Actively listening is a trait that shows how humble you are. At the end of the day, whenever you engage in a conversation, show respect. Whenever you want to talk to someone, stop and consider what you might do. To lose respect for you, so be gentle, pay attention, and let other people feel they understood and valued the fact that listening not only builds trust, but also habit number 5, a way to show that you are smart and thoughtful. Let's talk about another common but dangerous habit, talking about other people behind their backs. Many individuals believe that the ability to narrate stories or discuss others intelligently can enhance their visibility or influence. Other people might find this more interesting, so it's not completely wrong. It is very helpful to be able to communicate well and guide a conversation. However, discussing other people's lives renders this skill ineffective. They don't want certain private details to be shared, so it becomes a too-lit causes harm to people, ruins their lives, and undermines respect. When it comes to relationships, Stoic philosophy says that talking is not only a harmful habit but also a sin, but also behavior that makes the person's traits and values look bad. Being honest, talking is a habit that a lot of people have, but few are brave enough to say, "For me, it was once." It was a commonplace aspect of everyday existence that appeared secure, yet resulted in discomfort. Lessons. At first, talking about other people seemed like the best way to connect with them around me, but over time I learned that this habit didn't work. I tried to improve my partnerships, but it also cost me dear friends because I didn't trust them enough. Respect slowly faded on the way to understanding and acceptance. It wasn't simple to stop talking, but it was the first thing I did to get my own back. Values gossiping might look like a fun and harmless thing to do, but in fact it not only harms the target of the conversation, but it also has negative effects. When we talk about other people behind their backs, those who hear us they believe that one day people will talk about them in the same way. Having these kinds of talks makes relationships less safe and trusting. Being far away instead of close makes people unhappy and damages trust between them. Friends or co-workers, I still remember one of the most important things I learned about the gossip can hurt people. Once, my close friend Emily shared a story with me. Sharing a personal relationship secret with others through my writing made Emily feel uncomfortable. Misled and deeply hurt, she ultimately made the decision to depart from our group. We used to be good friends, but I lost that friendship due to a foolish thought. I learned a painful lesson about friendship that I will never forget. Another thing happened in a casual chat. I accidentally told her about work. I wanted to share some personal information about my co-worker John's life, even though it was just a short story. He lost trust in me because he believed I had invaded his privacy. Working together became tense and uncomfortable. These stories there is strong proof that talking not only hurts other people, but also makes us feel bad. Slowly, we lose the respect of those around us. These events helped me understand the importance of respect and trust when someone confides in you about something private. Sometimes they trust us. Sometimes they want to preserve these stories. Keep things secret is not only a way to show respect for other people, but also to keep ourselves safe from problems. This experience taught me to avoid using other people's stories as conversation starters. Building ties based on trust should be one of our main goals. Stoic philosophy consistently emphasizes the significance of speaking up. Exercise caution and avoid wasting time on unnecessary conversations. Stoic teacher Epictetus once said, "If you want to get better, be happy with what you have." He seems clueless or stupid about things that don't matter, as his advice suggests. One way is to focus on ourselves and block out negative thoughts. Talking about positive things in a constructive way clears our thoughts, respect, and real connection. Let's say you're in a business meeting and the boss just told everyone that there has been a significant change in the way work is done or the way the company is set up after the meeting. It is concluded that co-workers around you start talking loudly and spreading stories that aren't true. As rumors start to spread, people start to guess what caused the change, ranging from there have been rumors of possible layoffs and plans kept secret by the leaders. In this case, it's straightforward for to be swept away by a wave of worry and confusion. The tension in the air can quickly instill a sense of unease, scattering our thoughts in all directions. However, a Stoic person resists giving in to negative and unfounded worries. Philosophy would pick a different path instead of letting their thoughts wander. Be led by these stories. They would know that believing in things that aren't true. Speculations only make them feel uneasy, and they know that this stress comes from judging too quickly. Instead, they choose to be quiet. Stay silent while they wait for correct information, or ask their bosses directly if they have any questions. They need to stay calm and accept the unknown in order to avoid. Stoic thought teaches people to avoid unnecessary trouble, which protects their inner peace. Sometimes, waiting instead of reacting is the best course of action. Maintaining composure, applying logic, and seeking tranquility in any circumstance is preferable to discussing the stoicism of others. Philosophy tells us to have helpful conversations, because these conversations help we grow as people, make friends, and build a polite community. We can share our goals, dreams, or important information in a safe place where people won't spread rumors. Take life lessons together. This approach not only enhances one's appearance in the eyes of others, but also people often gossip as a way to keep their hearts at peace. But very few people are ready to say that it might look harmless, but in fact, it's a very bad thing to do that causes loss. In IC philosophy tells us to avoid this detrimental habit when it comes to partnerships. Instead of engaging in meaningful and beneficial conversations in silence, with patience, we learn how to get along with others and live in peace. So we talked about the 5 bad habits that cause others to lose. From the point of view of Stoic thought, these habits not only hurt us, not only does it alter how others perceive us, but it also significantly impacts our inner peace. Stoic philosophers put a lot of value on freedom. Stoic philosophy says that since everything starts inside us, instead of trying to control, instead of trying to alter how others perceive us, we should focus on taking control of our own lives, getting rid of bad habits, and keeping a calm, clear head. In the end, we can't fully care about whether other people respect us, control, but when we live honestly, we stick to our values, and if you do the right thing, people will automatically respect you, which is a positive reward. Our work can only go so far if we treat ourselves with care and follow our core values. Please share your thoughts on a life worth living and peace. We just talked about some habits. Do you need to change any habits you have? Have you managed to overcome these challenges? Leave a comment below and we'll talk about it. Together, please like and share this video if it was helpful. Subscribe to the channel so more people can learn about Stoic thought. Click the bell icon to make sure you don't miss any new videos. Now pick one of continue your journey towards self-discovery by watching the videos on the screen. Stoic philosophy. May you find peace and inner power.